Should have been. Hi, how you guys doing? I'm Kateria. Thank you for joining. This is the Power of God Ministries, JC, and I want to go over some of the what the Lord revealed about the New York attacks. This is a remake of the original from the original video that I made like 2 months ago. So today is September 9th, I believe. September 9th, or yes, September 9th, 2024. And I created this video approximately June or July, June or July, one of those. All right, so just the FYI, if you like, you already saw it. Um, so for the attacks in New York, just to recap, I want to make sure you understand like what was happening. Okay, so God began to show that different countries will own America and that the people of God will own countries. All right. Also, um, he also mentioned how America won't be the same. Basically, the Japan War will be repeated, and the atomic bomb, as well as them losing states, basically, them losing territory, the United States of America losing territory. And they're going to spare the United States of America and keep them of some dignity that that they do keep certain territories. I'm just recapping that so we kind of understand where we're going when we look at these attacks, and we kind of get the ending before it even start. And I'm also saying that portion because I had it in my last video, and I'm trying to figure out why I said it. So I just said it again. All right. So that's the Japan War. And I knew I said it because I was backed up on information. And now I am just trying to catch up. All right. So as far as New York goes, now we have Staten Island and Queens. Okay. Um, I'm just going to go through what the Lord was showing. So the places that ended up on the list is Staten Island, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and of course, we're just going to add Bronx in, all right, because of the Belt Parkway. Okay, so God began to show that the Belt Parkway was going to be experiencing the attacks. All right, again, the Belt Parkway will be experiencing the attacks. I'm going to say what that is. The name is the name given to a series of controlled access parkways that form a belt-like circle around New York City boroughs. Those boroughs in New York City is again Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Manhattan. But God only mentioned Queens, Staten Island, and Manhattan. Brooklyn and Bronx was included because of this belt parkway. God also mentioned Wards Island because I had a question. Okay, so let's just stay in sync. So this belt is where the attacks will happen. Whatever is attached to the belts, rather it is the land or the bridges, that will be the focal point of the attacks, or at least a portion of it, and maybe beyond that. All right, the sixth borough is Jersey City and Hopboyken in Hudson County. All right, so God, I really didn't go into that one, but I feel like that borough should go on an alert. All right, and so after that, you have the boroughs. Of course, I said it, I think I said it. The bridges connects to the boroughs or connects to each city. All right, and the bridges connect um the boroughs. Bear with me because yeah, I don't really like this video too much. All right, so side note, the Belt Parkway runs through Brooklyn and Southern Queens. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. The Belt Parkway runs through Brooklyn and Southern Queens, and that is north of the Narrows Bridge. The Narrows Bridge is the new name for the old name, which was the Staten Island Bridge. So Narrows Bridge was formerly known as the Staten Island Bridge. All right, so this is what happened, right? So we have discovered for um, my friend began to see, God began to tell her some things, okay? And that thing that God began to tell her was that our opponents are studying a physical map, just like how we study a map. And they outlining where they're gonna go on a map, so on and so forth. She see them in the spirit saying, hey, 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 and they figuring out this map. So that's why I caught on to why God moved me like this when it comes to this information. It's as if I am researching and I am digging it up on the map. I'm saying that because, of course, as America prepare, they need a map. They're going to have a map and they have to probably recalculate everything that I'm saying. All right. And so now you have the Belt Parkway runs through Brooklyn and Southern Queens. That's north of the Narrows Bridge. All right. The Narrows Bridge was also getting harassed. All right. That is when the ship container or the ship container was going under the bridge and the power went out. So it stopped under the bridge or before the bridge or whatever near the bridge. Okay. The belt terminology was applied to growing regions for various crops, rich of which often followed lines of latitude. So these belts terminology was basically for specific areas that was productive and growing, in other words. All right. Those belts consisted of the goodness of that city, no matter where it's at, no matter where it's located in the United States of America. Okay. And so God began, so that's the belt. All right. We just dealt with the belt. The next thing was the gates. Okay. God began to show that the gates will be invaded. All of the gates will be invaded. What are these gates? Um, they are inlets to the communities and complexes and beyond, maybe, right? Like Hell's Gate Bridge have a train for import export. All right. And since I am on that, I'm going to say the overall plan was the produce, manufacturing, and production in the economy to control it, dominate it. Do they want to shut it down? I don't know. I see they want to seize it to dominate, even though in the times of war they want to attack and ruin it. But do they want to ruin it? I don't know. I believe they want to seize it and dominate. Um, at least if something fails, they may just end up saying, okay, if I can't have it, let's ruin it. Um, but that's what the gates was about, the communities and complexes. But nevertheless, the gates also went into the subways. All right. So I'm not from New York. You guys can correct me on that, but per se, I would pay attention to the subways. Okay. So it says when I saw this, when God was showing this to me, all of the gates was infiltrated and seized. Soldiers and military armies was everywhere in New York. All right. So some of these gates, like in the Bronx, you have Reigning Memorial Gate. All right, it's by the zoo, the north side of the zoo, and it's also like 47 minutes from Manhattan. In Queens, New York, you have Central Park. You have the Scholars Gate, the Artisans Gate, the Merchants Gate, the Artist Gate, and the Exonerated Gate. Okay, and each one of those gates lead to a avenue. All right, Scholars is Fifth Avenue. Um, Artist is Sixth Avenue. Artisans is Seventh Avenue. Merchants Gate is 8th Avenue. Exonerated Gate, I assume that is 9th Avenue. All right. So as you can see, these gates leading into communities, right? And they're going to be controlling the gates. All right. There's a spiritual message behind this, but let me keep going. Then you have Vanderbilt Gate, Osborne Gate, Lehman's Gate, um, the Gates Avenue station, and that's the one that's connected to the subway. I questioned, was that a gate, because that's connected to a whole bunch of more gates. Meaning, when I saw it, it was like mini Gates Avenue. It was like Gates Avenue, this, Gates Avenue, this, Gates Avenue, that. All right. Horatio Gate is a person, but yet he still falls under the manufacturing, produce, and production and things like that. All right. So Horatio Gate is a person. He owned and freed slaves, and he is the founder of the Rose Hill Farm. All right. And they overall objective was the produce. So I still mentioned that one, right? Then you have the Seagate. The Seagate is another one. It's a gated community, very pretty, surrounded by beaches. Gulliver's Gate is now closed. Then I saw Sonic Gate, Director Gate, the Red Gate, and the Hell's Gate. Okay, so now we have these particular gates, and I want to get into the symbolic association, the spiritual message behind this, that God is not pleased with America. This right here is judgment upon America. And what God is showing is that He is allowing the gates of New York to be invaded. He is allowing this to happen because God gave a responsibility to the White House to guard a gate as well. And that gate was the United States of America Constitution. They defiled it. They allowed invaders to come in and imposters to come in and began to strip the United States Constitution apart. They was assigned that gate, just like how it is for the spiritual realm or for the people of God, right? You have your intercessors, your prayer warriors, and whomever else, and they are assigned a gate in the spiritual realm. We are assigned a gate, and it's our responsibility to take care of that gate and to pray over that gate and to make sure nothing bad happened to that gate or that family or whomever. So we have an assignment that was sent by God for us to cover those gates in the spiritual realm. So God is showing that because they did not cover the gate that God blessed them with in the earthly realm, He's allowing these invaders to come and invade these gates. And that's what the Holy Spirit began to minister. The Holy Spirit began to show and say, I am allowing these gates to be invaded because America has has abandoned their gate. They have abandoned their posts, and they have touched the Constitution, and they were supposed to keep that sacred. They touched the Constitution, they abandoned their posts, they forgot about God, and so let it be and let it manifest that the gates of New York be invaded like they abandoned the gates that God gave them. All right. So my last video, I said that better, but it is what it is. So that was really important because this is judgment upon America. Even though we are praying and hoping for the best outcome, that God spare America with as much as He can. He sees some bad things happening, and God is not pleased, right? All right. So that is the gates. Okay. And now I want to go into, let's see, I don't want to skip nothing. This says the Brooklyn Bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, Hellgate Bridge, and Narrows Bridge. All right. So if they was to attack some bridges, I don't know which bridges they will attack, but if they was to attack some bridges, this is my opinion. I believe the natives to New York can identify those bridges better, right? Because God didn't give no names. So any bridge that's connected to that Belt Parkway should go on high alert. All right. So, but I like the Brooklyn Bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, the Hellgate Bridge, and the Narrows Bridge. Seem very valuable. All right, and pretty. Um, and it was just military patrolling and roaming and invading cities all over. I didn't see any missiles or anything like that, but the word attack means attack. It means something violent, right? Staten Island and Queens go up for warning. Again, focus on the Belt Parkway. And some gates are in Queens, and the bridges connect to Staten Island. Okay, so Staten Island and Queens just kind of sound the alarm above them all. All right, and just FYI, some gates are in Queens and the bridges. So Queens have gates to worry about and the bridges, and it also connects to Staten Island. And now another thing, Hell's Gate Bridge connects to Wards Island and Queens. I'm going to repeat that. Hell's Gate Bridge connects to Wards Island and Queens. So this is an addition that I added in. Basically I was talking to God or whatever. I said you didn't mention Wards and Randall's Island, but they are these, standalone islands that look like a big target with a big red bow on it and stuff like that. So God began to say there will be soldiers on Wards Island. All right, there will be soldiers on Wards Island, but he didn't mention Randall's Island. Okay, so that Hell's Gate Bridge, remember the bridges that's valuable, connects to Wards Island and Queens. Okay, and Wards Island is in Staten Island. All right, so the next one is Staten Island and Manhattan, targeting and focusing on Staten Island and Manhattan stairs. All right, so God was talking about these stairs, and it was only for Staten Island and Manhattan, and it and it was very clear. All right, invasions, and that's everywhere that the stairs are. So the stairs are the cement that goes up into the little stairs, or the cement that has the stairs in it, but it's not just regular stairs. It's like the stairs that's on a Rocky movie. You see, like in New York, they have them stairs and they be running up them stairs and stuff like that. Those are the stairs. All right, you're gonna see them around. They kind of historical and monumental, and they are in the communities. All right, so the small staircases in Staten Island communities. That's what I saw, a small staircase inside the communities when I googled it. But also the red stairs at Times Square and all them nice places that have those stairs, and those stairs can start getting really fancy to really basic. Next one, to recap, am I recapping? All right, so the Queens. Again, I mentioned it earlier, invasion and attacks on the bridges and the gates. So that's what's significant about Queens. Bronx and Brooklyn just may have a gate inside of it or connected to that Belt Parkway. All right. Again, the overall focus of this invasion is the produce manufacturing and production and the economy. All right. So stay with me. I'm almost finished. 19 minutes. Here we go. So, a focal point in New York, a target point, definitely a target point, was the gold mines. All right. So, God began to release that about yesterday, I believe. Um, and the mills. If you have any mills in New York, make sure that goes up on alert. So wherever those gold mines are, the gold digging or whatever the case may be, that should go up on alert. All right, you guys, that is New York